Hello, everybody. I'm Dennis Prager. My home, my dog, my fireplace, and my fireside chat. Otto's doing fine. Many of you inquire about that. Some, in fact, only inquire about Otto. And I want you to know I'm not in any way hurt. On the other hand, if you inquire only about me, Otto is a little hurt. So I just thought a word to the wise is sufficient, and we can move on. So let me just reintroduce the Fireside Chats. It's completely spontaneous. I think about what I'll talk about, but I don't write any notes. We don't pre-record. We don't change it later. And that's it. It's me to you. And then, of course, your questions. And then we go on with our lives. Hopefully, though, this will change your life a little for the better. Otherwise, it's not worth it. Let me be very open about myself. Everything I have done has always been to touch and change people's lives, values, and thinking. I have no interest in power. I only have interest in influence. I think I have healthy, happy, moral insights into life. I think that people need them terribly, especially today, because those things which together are known as wisdom are not conveyed in our schools and in our media. So where do you look? I'm not the only one to look to, thank God, but that I am one whom I would want you to. And that's what animates me. Period. I never understood the lust for power. I understand lust, but I don't understand lust for power. I understand sexual lust. I understand food lust. I understand cigar lust. I understand lust for money, though I don't have it. But I don't understand lust for power. I just don't relate to it. The thrill of being able to tell people what to do and ordering them, gives me the creeps. Because I don't want anybody to order me except the creator of the world. I do take his orders. All right, anyway, that was a long autobiographical statement. I just want you to know that this edition of the Fireside Chat is brought to you by Thinkr.org. Thinkr without an E, Thinkr. It's a very good idea, and I really like it. In fact, I knew about it before they were a sponsor because my son is a big enthusiast. Thinkr.org summarizes the key ideas from new and noteworthy nonfiction, gives you an access to an entire library of great books in bite-sized form. Read or listen to hundreds of titles in a matter of minutes, from old classics like Dale Carnegie's How to Influence People, How to Win Friends and Influence People, to recent bestsellers like Jordan Peterson's wonderful 12 Rules for Life. You want to challenge your preconceptions, expand your horizons, become a better thinker, go to Thinkr, T-H-N. Oh, yes, it does have an I. I was wondering, does it miss both vowels? Thinkr.org to start a free trial and enjoy. All right, we begin with the video question.
No talk.
Oh, you're right, we don't. We start with a talk. I'm telling you, folks, if this weren't spontaneous, I'd start it all over. But hey, you live with your boo-boos. That's one of the lessons of life. You live with your mistakes. So it's July 4th weekend, and that is the anniversary of the birth of the United States. I have a video out, Why I Love America. I hope you'll watch it. It's at PragerU. And we are witnessing one of the most irrational developments in the history of the world. The great beacon of hope for mankind, the United States of America, engaging in a self-destructive civil war, and the side that wants to destroy this country as it is I don't know if it's winning, but it's certainly powerful. whole generation has been raised to think of this country as sexist, misogynist, and of course racist, imperialist, genocidal. And I think about it, and if you know anything about history, you know America is an aberration of decency. That's what it is. It's an aberration. Like slavery. Every society on earth had slavery. Not just America. Every. In Asia, in Native Americans, South America and North America, Black Africans, Arabs, everybody had slavery. So the only intelligent question is not who had slaves, it's who abolished slavery. Isn't that all that matters? It's like saying, America's a really lousy country. People had cancer. But of course, you would never say that because you know that every country has cancer. But let's say a country abolished cancer. Then you say, whoa, that's a special country. They abolished cancer and a whole host of other diseases before everybody else. Gee, what makes that society tick? That's what you ask. Same thing with getting people out of poverty. Poverty was the human norm, just like slavery was the human norm. So the only intelligent question is not who or what society had abject poverty. It's what society lifted or what idea lifted people from poverty. And there's only one. It's called capitalism. If you don't like capitalism, it's because you don't care about people. You care about ideas. You love ideas more than people. If you love people, you must love capitalism. Not emotionally. I don't care what you think about it emotionally, but intellectually and morally. Do you want to do good for people or do you want to feel good about yourself? Big question. They're not the same. They should be the same. That's the irony. America has welcomed people of every race, every ethnicity, nationality, and religion, more so than any other country on the face of the earth. It's not an easy experiment. It's not. It's easy to get along with people who are similar in every way, same religion, same nationality, same ethnicity, same this, same that. America said, out of many one, e pluribus unum. Come on, folks, you come in. You know how many Black Africans have come to the United States in the last 50 years? 2 million. And had we allowed more, I don't mean more from Africa, more from anywhere, more Africans would have come. Many more million. Why did they come to a racist country? Are they stupid? I always ask this, and I never get an answer. Why do so many Black Africans want to come to America? Did they not get the message? You're not liked? There's systemic racism here? The cops will stop you no matter what? They don't get the message? You think they don't read the papers in Africa? They don't listen to the news or watch TV? How come they want to come? And want to come here more than any other place on earth? Why is that? Do you know Gallup just did a poll around the world? 22% of those who wish to migrate from their country, of all the people in the world, 22% want to come to the United States, number one. Number one choice, United States. Number two is Canada, 6%. More than 3 times as many people in the world want to come to the U.S. than the second most popular country. Why is that? You don't hear about systemic racism in Canada. Why doesn't everybody want to go to Canada? Nice country. How come? Because they know how great this place is. You want opportunity? This is the place. You want liberty? This is the place. Or it was the place. That's the irony. America's so much less free than it was when I was a kid. It's so much less free than it was 25 years ago. Because the left destroys everything it touches. Everything. There's no exception to that rule. It's a purely destructive force. It was very symbolic with all these people on the left smashing stores and burning stores and looting. You think they were conservatives doing that? No, they weren't. They don't do it for their cause. How come there's no smashing for right-wing causes? Why don't we have anything comparable among conservatives that we have on the left? Because conservatives have a belief that even though I might feel my cause is right, I can't hurt others in the name of my cause. So we have something here that's so special. And speaking emotionally, I wonder how many young people, and by young people I would say under 25, I would just arbitrarily pick that age, have an emotional attachment to this country. How many Americans under that age? When I was a kid, I remember when television would go off when I was a kid, it didn't broadcast 24/7, which is a great thing now that I think of it. Anyway, it didn't broadcast 24/7. At midnight, almost every station went quiet. They would end the broadcast day with the flag and the national anthem. And I remember getting the chills. I just did. I was very moved, and I'm still moved by the flag and the national anthem. How many people under 25 are moved? I don't know the answer, but there's a breaking point where a society has no future when a certain percentage of its next generation has no emotional attachment to their country. That's a big worry that I have. I haven't spoken about this, but it's a big worry that I have. There is a place in life for emotions, not over reason, which is all we're seeing now. It's all emotion over reason, all the protesting and all the rioting. This is the least racist country in the history of the world that had many races living in it. And yet people are protesting in great numbers. But anyway, at a given point where you have a generation that July 4th means nothing, the flag means nothing, the national anthem means nothing, it doesn't continue. Do you know, by sheer coincidence, I was a scholar in residence that's what they call it. That's what they call the position, because I was there when you give one speech, you're a speaker. When you give 3 days of speakers, you're a scholar in residence. That's the way it works. So I was scholar in residence at a big Jewish retreat in Arizona many years ago. And the other speaker was the Israeli ambassador to the United Nations. Yeah, to the UN. I'm just debating, was it the UN or the US? I believe it was the UN. And the day his lectures started, it was his last day in office. So he was completely free to speak his mind. So I sat down and I recorded a dialogue with him. I think I lost the recording, unfortunately. But I remember something. I said, what struck you about America? I love to ask people who are from other countries, what strikes you about America? And remind me if I forget, I want to talk about a French waitress in France, what struck her about America. Anyway, so the Israeli ambassador to the UN, a private talk, he was free to talk because, again, this was the day his role in the UN was over, so he could speak his mind. He was no longer the representative of the Israeli government. And he said, the thing that most got me about America was how patriotic Americans are. I was very moved by that. I said, well, what do you mean? He said, the very fact that you begin every sporting event with your national anthem and people stand up. He said, that is so healthy. That's a sign of a healthy society. I was very moved by it. And now we're told that if you don't stand for the national anthem, that is in no way disrespectful to the flag or the national anthem. The one time you choose to kneel, not stand, is the time everybody is asked to stand, but you're not showing any disrespect. Because it's only about racism, the kneeling. It's not about the flag. So what if you burned the flag on behalf of anti-racism? Would that be disrespectful? I'm not disrespecting the flag. I'm just burning it to bring attention to racism, right? Why not say that? The other example of a foreigner about America was I was giving a lecture in Nice, France. It was at a conference. We were taken to a fancy restaurant in Nice, and I speak French, not great, but I speak French. And so I was talking to the waitress. I would say she was late 20s. And I asked her, well, I have to preface this. I realized very quickly it was stupid for me to speak to her in French because she spoke such excellent English. My view, I speak a number of languages. My view is I will speak to you in your language if that's more comfortable for you. No, that's not even true. If you're better in English than I am in your language, we'll talk English. If I'm better in your language than you are in English, we'll speak in your language. That's my rule. Okay. She was better in English than I was in French. We spoke English. So I said to her, how do you speak English so well? And she said, I spent a year in America. And I said, oh, and where was that? And she said, Tampa, Florida, which I happen to love. I have a very great affection for Tampa. I just think the people are very nice there. And I said to her, so let me ask you a question. And I want you to know I truly have no, I can't say I don't have any horse in this race. I said, I truly will not be hurt. I promise you. Who do you think are nicer people, the French or Americans? And she said, without having to think, oh, Americans are much nicer. And I found that fascinating, coming from a young French woman who was happy to be French. Americans have been known. You ask foreigners, have you been to America? Yes. What do you think? Very friendly people. You don't build a friendly people out of nothing. You don't build a free society out of nothing. All of this is effortful. It's all rooted in ideas that became powerful in American life. And if you crush those ideas, you will crush America. See, in a nutshell, let me just end with this. There is a saying in Oregon where they have a lot of people working in the lumber industry, or did. So they had a saying, maybe they still do. You don't know how tall a tree is until you knock it down. That's a sad commentary on the human condition. Only when you lose something do you realize how valuable it was. I know how valuable America is without losing it. My fear is that not enough Americans do. Okay, now we'll go to our video.
Hi, Dennis. My name is Jonathan Naylor. I am 19 years old from Palmdale, California, and a proud member of PragerU. My question is this. Is it enough for the American people to be knowledgeable about their rights in the Constitution, or are there steps, and what steps are those, needed to bring America back to what the founders intended? Thank you.
Okay, Jonathan, thank you. It's never enough to know. You have to know, but it's not enough. Listen, how do we bring Americans back to what the founders wanted? It's what I'm devoting my life to. It's what PragerU is about. These were extraordinarily terrific men. Extraordinarily. They made the freest society in the history of the world. So then you have been taught to say, yeah, well, what about slavery and the Native Americans? One doesn't negate the other. Created the freest society, and it maintained flaws, some serious flaws. That's correct. One doesn't negate the other. I didn't say they created a flawless society. Remember, the perfect is the enemy of the better. You want a perfect America? You'll end up destroying the good one. You want a perfect anything? You will end up destroying it. There is no perfection in this world. That's why when I heard from Barack Obama when he was running for president, 5 days before the election, he said, we are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America. I said, uh-oh. I don't want to fundamentally transform the United States of America. I've always had a question about these people. What would you say about a husband who said, I want to fundamentally transform my wife? Or a wife who said, I'd like to fundamentally transform my husband. You think they love each other? You don't love or even appreciate what you want to fundamentally transform. The left wants to fundamentally transform this place. That means it'll ruin it. Period. End of issue. That's the same words used by Joe Biden. Want to fundamentally transform the United States of America. Really? Because it's so easy to make a decent society? You want to improve it? I'm on your team. You want to fundamentally transform it? I will fight you. Anyway, we want Americans. If I have a book out, Still the Best Hope. It explains American values, leftist values, Islamic values. It's 3 books in one. Still the Best Hope. And it's as important to read what America stands for as what the left stands for in that book. Because most Americans don't know. We have a trinity. I explain that all the time. It's on every coin. Liberty, e pluribus unum, in God we trust. No other country had that trinity or trio of basic values. And I explain why they're all necessary. But conservatives, people who believed in it, did not even transmit these values to their children, and now we're seeing the effect. Okay, let's go to more of your calls. What's our timing?
22.
Ben, 17, Minneapolis. Dear Mr. Prager, my family and I are really considering leaving our church due to the fact that far too many of our church leaders are pushing left-wing agendas both on social media and in church. My question is, do you know of any good pastors in the Twin Cities of Minnesota, or any good pastors we could listen to online? It is okay if you do not really have a clear answer to this, since you may not be familiar with the Twin Cities. I am very familiar, but I don't know the answer to your question about what church to go to there. I think it is really sad that families in many churches may be in the same circumstances as mine, and maybe you might be able to deliver some of your wisdom to us. We are not trying to see our family or ourselves as victims, but we do not really have an idea as to what to do next. P.S. We have not officially decided if we're going to leave our church or not. This is a problem for Catholics, Protestants, and Jews. That's correct. Since so many of the rabbis, priests, and ministers have really converted from their religion to leftism. Out of hundreds of examples is the notion that colorblind is a bad idea. Colorblind is the essential idea of Judaism and Christianity. God doesn't give a damn about race, neither do I. End of issue. That's the position every rabbi, priest, and minister should be telling their congregation. I'm as interested in your color as God is. 0. So you've got a problem. I would leave. I don't know why you need to go to church to hear ideas that are antithetical to what you believe. There are a handful of pastors, priests, and ministers actually teaching religion as it should be taught. But I can't give you specific recommendations in your city. But do read my column, recent column on Judaism and Christianity, Jews and Christians, and how they're failing the greatest test. America's Jews and Christians are failing the greatest test in their history. Adrian, 22, in London. Hi, Dennis. I hear this statement circulating a lot amongst modern society, and also have heard it many times in my life. Humans are evil, or humans are the most destructive species on the planet. What do you think about this statement, and how would you respond to it? Well, I have said that the big distinction, one of the biggest distinctions between liberal, not just left, liberal, left, and right is, do you believe humans are basically good? Whereas conservatives know, certainly religious people know, we're not basically good. Human nature is very flawed. We have to battle our natures to be good people. That's the way it works. Just as you have, in other words, it's not that we're basically bad, it's that the good needs to be mined, M-I-N-E-D, like gold needs to be mined. There's gold in those mines, but it takes a lot of work to get it out. There's good in our nature, it takes a lot of work to get it out. Now, as to those phrases, yes, humans are the most destructive species on the planet, but it's a stupid comment, because they're also the only species to build hospitals. It's just another one of these moronic notions that is pseudo-sophisticated. You might as well say humans are the kindest creatures on the planet. You know, you might as well say humans are the most wonderful, most benevolent, kindest creatures on the planet. We're the only ones who build hospitals. We take care of our weakest. The animals eat the weakest. I remember when I went on 3 or 4 safaris in Africa, and I remember the first time I just became so aware. The weakest gazelle was the one most likely eaten by a lion. We take care. We put the weakest in hospitals. In nature, the animals eat the weakest. So you'll say, well, that's that. They don't have a choice. I agree with you, but at least don't argue that we are the cruelest creature. We are both. We're the cruelest and we're the kindest. Okay, there you go for that. Jonah 15, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Dear Mr. Prager, I am straight, white, Christian, male. Why does the left target me? Well, who else are they going to target? They have to target somebody. They don't target values, so they target people. See, that's your choice. Why is there evil on earth? Because of bad values, not because of race, sexual orientation. What else is there? Religion. Well, sometimes religion contributes to evil. There's no question about that. But that's basically it. You're a convenient target. There's also a resentment, because the truth is that the WASP, the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, made the greatest society in history. That's just a fact. And you're as resented as Jews have been resented for making good societies where they've been. Israel's hated because, hey, listen, if Israel were a miserable country, it wouldn't be nearly as hated. It's because it produces so much medicine and so much technology. And because did you know that Syrians during the Syrian civil war who were nearly dying would cross the border into hated Israel, knowing their lives would be saved in an Israeli hospital? And then they knew that they couldn't tell anybody in Syria who saved their life. This has been reported all over the world, not in big letters, but reported. If they tell others, Jews saved my life, they're dead. It's the irony. That's the envy of the Jews and what they have built wherever they have been is one of the reasons for anti-Semitism. Envy of what the WASP has built. Not just the WASP, but the WASP built it. And I'm a Jew telling you this, so I have no axe to grind, do I? Catholics contributed, Jews contributed, blacks contributed, Asians contributed, everybody contributed. But it was begun and led largely by the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, which has nothing to do with his being white. Nothing. Or Anglo-Saxon. It's just a fact. Whites also led Nazism. It's impossible to be a white supremacist, because whites have created some of the best things on earth and some of the worst things on earth. So which white are you for? Hitler was white and George Washington was white. So what? It has nothing to do with race. But they don't deserve to be hated in America. where they made this place, which celebrates its birthday this weekend. Happy birthday, America. I'm Dennis Prager. See you next week. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to keep these fireside chats free, please do by donating to PragerU.